A very warm welcome to all our parents and carers. Like you, we are very excited about welcoming the remainder of our students back to school next week. Thank you all for your ongoing support with remote learning and for your support overall at Trinity College. Our priority next week will be welcoming your sons and daughters back to school, giving them some space to re-engage and reconnect, and working out where they're up to with their learning. There will, however, be some differences to the pre-COVID-19 era. Some of the day-to-day operations have been changed to ensure we keep all students and staff safe. The Chief Health Officer has provided clear advice that students do not have to maintain physical distancing at school. The advice also states that students are very safe at school, and it is adults, as well as those with compromised immunity, who are at greater risk of transmission, infection, and negative health outcomes. We will be emphasising effective hygiene practices among students and staff, and will be implementing procedures to try and keep staff as physically distanced as possible. We've also been advised to limit the number of visitors on school site, so I'm requesting that parents and carers only attend school if they absolutely have to. I would also ask that when you are picking your children up from school, please stay in your car. I know most of you do this anyway. Could I please ask you to keep your children at home if they have any symptoms? And if they are going for a COVID test, then please inform Jenny Weller, the principal's PA. If students show any symptoms here at school, they are asked to report to reception immediately, where they will be isolated and we will contact home. Thanks again for all your support. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact any of us here at Trinity College. I hope the final week of remote learning goes well.
Hello everyone. As Paul mentioned, we are really excited about welcoming all our students back on site. I will mention a few administrative details about various processes that have been put in place for our students, as well as some reminders about our expectations. So firstly, cleaning and hygiene. Paul has mentioned that we have an enhanced cleaning regime at school. High contact areas, including door handles, light switches, and washrooms, will be cleaned regularly throughout the day. Sanitizing stations have been installed at the entrance to each building, and every person entering and leaving a teaching area is required to sanitize their hands. And we'd really appreciate it if parents could just keep on reminding students to wash their hands and to sanitize their hands as much as possible. Now, while students are not expected to social distance, we still encourage this as much as possible. Please remind your children that, firstly, they are to avoid any physical contact with each other. We know with teenagers that can be a little bit difficult, but it would be best that they do try to avoid any kind of physical contact. They're also discouraged from sharing possessions with each other and are reminded to bring their own equipment and stationery to school. Students may not drink from the taps at the water drinking fountains and must bring their own water bottles to school. Of course, they may fill their water bottles at the drinking fountains. So as for our timetable, we hope to continue as close to normal as possible. However, we cannot have any whole school college assemblies, camps, or any off-site excursions until further notice. The St. Joseph's Resource Centre will continue to be open to students for extra study before and after school. An updated calendar for terms 2 to 4 will be shared with our families this week. Many events cannot be confirmed at this stage and are dependent on government regulations. But we will continue to communicate details to our community as soon as we have the relevant confirmation of dates and events. As for travel, bus services will run as normal. Now, we're aware that physical distancing is difficult on buses. Students are asked to maintain space between them and other students as much as possible on buses and to follow the direction of bus drivers. We also suggest that students carry hand sanitizer to use before and after traveling on buses. And of course, as we need to limit access to campus as much as possible, we do ask parents dropping off and picking up their students to please remain in their cars and to not congregate in the car park. Our canteen will be fully operational during both breaks. However, the important thing is that lunch orders will only be available during break 1, so students must place their food orders at the canteen by 9:30 each morning. We're also expected to separate year levels as much as possible, so students in various year levels will be allocated to specific areas during breaks each day. Now, we know that this is a great deal of information for our students to take in, but our staff will be around to help guide them through their return to campus. We will email an updated information letter to parents and continue to post updates on our college websites and social media. So please feel free to contact the school should you have any additional queries. Thank you.
Firstly, I just wanted to say well done to all of the parents out there. Your time of navigating remote learning is almost over, and I'm sure for some of you that's really exciting. And we're actually really excited about having the students back at school. Like, a school is not a school without students, so it's going to be fun to have them back. As a school, we've been really pleased with how well the students have coped during this time. And I'd also like to put a special shout out to our YLCs and our wellbeing team of Kate, Shana and Jeremy, who've been there for you as parents and for your students when needed during this time to ensure that the wellbeing of our students has been looked after. They've done a fantastic job. We are aware that for many students, returning to school will be a little bit of a difficult thing. For some, there might even be some resistance. We want you to know that during this time that you can contact the school at any time. You can contact the YLCs, you can contact the wellbeing officers, and to do that, you can do that by ringing reception and they can put you through to either Kate, Jeremy or Shana, or you can email wellbeing@tcc.vic.edu.au. Also, the wellbeing team has devised a tips and strategies sheet, which will be sent out to you as well, so look out for that. It might be helpful to you. And lastly, in finishing up, just a little admin, all students are expected to be in full school uniform when they return to school on Tuesday, so we appreciate your support with that matter. And once again, we look forward to seeing students back. Thank you.